Good afternoon, Fleece Force. Just before I'm about to pop off to my friends and her family, she's up from Oxford, and I always love her coming up to the glorious northeast, which she loves too. I just want to tell you about how the wool mill started, the Christmas past story, and how this year has been. So that will tick boxes for the older and the newer followers. Thanks for following, everyone, by the way. Thanks for all your support. I can't do it without it. I can't do it without your support. It's absolutely essential. So basically, I'm a farming activist. I'm passionate about our UK industries, and I was just totally I was totally low on the lockdown that was coming up on March 2020. I couldn't do anything, your work life was just kaput, and I live to work. I'm like a border collie. I absolutely live to work. And I read about the decline once again of UK wool and how it's worthless. So I decided to do something about it. I had no skill set. I had no knowledge of UK wool. I chucked a fleece in a bucket of water and I learned how to needle felt with those, with the wool that I'd processed. Anyway, the books were full. I couldn't needle felt fast enough, and all those orders went out for charitable donations. It was not the time to make money off already struggling people. So that was done. And then the wool mill was bought. The first wool mill was bought. I had a team behind me to really help with learning how to scour, to scale to a certain extent, learning how to card wool and different types of wool. We had lots of jams. Took our first saddle flocking order. I'd done a lot of the prototype handmade side to inspire the markets on peg looms, whole fleece rugs, needle felts, yarns. I even learned how to spin, and just really went off the image, went off the look, went off, if I can do it, then of course you can, and just sort of stayed very fun and positive and friendly with it all. And that's definitely the biggest driving force. And that positivity just rang through the audience. And then we really worked with the older wool mill, which is still here till last year. This time last year, I was just before the new wool mill was delivered. I was running that machine all day and all night to transition the demand from the old to the new mill. Anyway, the new mill came, all singing, all dancing, absolutely brilliant. And then, we have a bit of a breakdown, and it's nothing to do with anything, just basically the debris from wool compared to acrylic. This is where the market's gone. The debris is just like, I would say it wasn't accounted for with the guards. That's all it was. And it just required further and further routine cleaning. And I've got a really, really good and quick method for that now. And up to this year, production 5 times output, absolutely amazing scope with production. But I have to say, up to now, it's filled the capacity for the new machine, which is amazing. Team comes back in. This is where the team always comes back in. And then the old wool mill is going to be regened up to go efficiently, because I know the mechanics now. And then that's all ready. In the past few weeks, that's been getting ready to step in, and there's more of that going to be talked about much further on. But that's to the end of what I'd call year 5, and this year 5 has been incredibly challenging. There's been so many changes, that's happened overnight without warning, faster than you can adapt to. And the only way to that's been to do it is to keep searching for the answer, and all of a sudden the answer will come back, and then you're away again. And that's the way that I've pushed through the challenges. And although you can go in self-pity about challenges and difficulties and all that sort of stuff, there was major challenges, I have to say. But once that's pushed through, in comes the reward. How much have you learned because of that? How much have you gained because of that? How much stronger are you because of that? And I have to say, this year has pushed, challenged, and then when you get over that hurdle, you're onto a different level. Absolutely a different level. And it's just incredible, every part of this wool mill, from tiny, that first fleece that went into a bucket, up to this scale, is seeing things in production and the commercial side, courier side, for the very first time. In an established business, you may have to think about, well, it's the same production, that's the same systems that we've always done for years. Okay, there's the US tariffs. Now we have to just work out the US tariffs. But this year, it's been the changes in production and the changes in the environment, shall we say, the commercial environment. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been absolutely brilliant. It has. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've loved every minute of these 5 years. The holidays are incredibly important to me. I'm just about to go and see my best friend, who's up from Oxford. Almost 30 years, best friendship. She was a newcomer to prep school and said, come and sit next to me. And we've been best friends ever since. We've done monumental endurance races. Actually, we did the Devizes to Westminster kayak race, dual girls kayak race, and the training was brutal. The hikes that we did in Mull was brutal. She's done lots of fell races. I've done lots of marathon bike rides, coast to coast and back and stuff. And you know what taught us life skills? Those endurance races. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how tough it gets, with risk, calculated risk, you can just do it. Keep going, keep showing up, keep pushing through it, and then the current will take you, and you're away. And we started off at Devizes. We paddled solid, long shifts for 4 days, and before we knew it, we were under Westminster Bridge at the finish line. And that has definitely been the story of setting up a wool mill. So for those thinking about it, if you love a challenge, and if you love endurance, you're in it for the long haul. And if you're passionate about the product and everything that surrounds it, rural Britain, the countryside, or rural, if you're from a different country, rural landscapes, etc., and sheep and animals, go for it.